Hey guys, welcome back to My Sports Vice. Appreciate you guys tuning in. You can tell your friends about us. You can get our podcast obviously through our website, mindsportsvice.com, or you can get the podcast on iTunes, or you can see it on YouTube now. It's easy. Go to the website. There's a little red tab on the front page on the right where you can subscribe through YouTube, and every time I post a podcast, you'll get a update on that. So I appreciate you tuning in. I'm just going to do a little podcast about so far the ADPs, or average draft positions, in most drafts right now. The drafts are starting to pick up. We did ours this week for my main league with all my friends, and we did it Saturday, which is a week earlier than we usually do it. And that was a scheduling thing, so we were able to do it this weekend, and most of you guys are probably drafting now for the next couple of weeks. So I just wanted to give you an update on what's going on out there. Injuries, nothing really to speak of too bad. I mean, we've talked about it before. Stevie Johnson's out for the season. That's the stock for Travis Benjamin goes up that way. He's going to get a lot more looks now that Stevie Johnson's gone, but he's more of a deep threat. He's along the lines of a guy like Deshaun Jackson. He'll have some big days. This is what he did in Cleveland, and he'll have some days where he really doesn't do much. But I think he might be a nice little sleeper pick. I think I have him on my Sleepers podcast. Brandon LaFell hurt his hand. He'll be out for a little while. He's playing for Cincinnati now. And Larry Fitzgerald had a slight sprain of his MCL. They're not making that big a deal out of it, but he's not a spring chicken anymore, so I don't know how much I'd worry about him. I grabbed him in a couple of drafts, so keep an eye on that. And then the biggest news, I guess, for injuries is Dion Lewis for New England. He ended up opting. He's recovering from an ACL last year, and now he had to go in and get his knee cleaned up, which is bad news for me because I drafted him in like 3 leagues. And in my main league, I drafted him in the 9th round. And so he's going to be out, they're saying 6 to 8 weeks. So he might miss the first 6 or 7 games of the season. And when he comes back, who knows what kind of shape he's going to be in. If you drafted Dion Lewis, grab James White. He's pretty much the same thing. Okay, they're going to go with LeGarrette Blount in the first couple of downs and maybe in goal line situations. But James White, just like Dion Lewis would have done, will be catching a lot of passes out of the backfield. The receiving core for New England isn't that strong. Besides Gronk, they're really not that strong. So James White might be a nice little pickup. I just checked, and he's only owned in 22% of leagues that have been drafted. I'm basing my ADP all these ADP numbers that I'm giving you are based on ESPN, which probably has a shit ton of drafts. I mean, thousands and thousands of them. So it's pretty good numbers coming at you. Another note. Carlos Williams, who was suspended for the first 4 games of the season, the backup running back to McCoy in Buffalo, he got released outright. He's gone. So that raises Reggie Bush's stock. Reggie Bush is not even. I printed up the top 168 picks on ADP, and Bush isn't on here. So you can get him for nothing at the end of your draft, especially if you draft McCoy. I would highly advise you picking up Reggie Bush just in case. But his stock rises because Carlos Williams is gone. Our draft was pretty good. Now, our draft is a little different, or not different. It's just our league settings are a little different. We give 6 points for a touchdown pass for quarterbacks. So the standard's 4 for most leagues. And so our quarterbacks tend to go a little bit higher in the draft than others. And then it's a PPR league. So first 10, when there's a 10-team league, first 10 picks, it was 7 wide receivers, and I'm counting Gronk as a wide receiver, and 3 running backs. Obviously, Antonio Brown went first. Gronk went second, which was a little bit of a surprise. I was third and got Beckham which was nice. Gurley went 4th, so he was the first running back taken. And then a friend of mine, Shane, was able to get David Johnson at number 7, which is about right. David Johnson's going on an average of 8, 4th running back taken. The surprise there is Adrian Peterson went number 11. Now, that's a second round for us, but it'd still be in the first round for most. But he's averaging on ADPs, he's going off 3rd off the board, and he got picked 11th in our league. Another surprise was Le'Veon Bell was picked 22nd in our league. I actually was getting ready to grab him. I had the 23rd pick, and I saw that he was still there, and I was going to grab him, but Chris grabbed him right in front of me. So he's been going on average at 13, and he got picked 22nd in our league. So that was a bit of a surprise. And then on the other end, Keenan Allen went in our league at 21st, and he's been averaging at 33. But I'm real happy because, again, keep in mind, it's a PPR league. I've got Beckham, Marshall, Jordan Reed at tight end, Michael Floyd, and Golden Tate. Golden Tate last year had 90 catches. Reed had 87. Marshall had 109. And Beckham had 96. I picked up Michael Floyd. We're playing 2 flex players this year. We eliminated the kicker. I don't give a shit about kickers anymore. So we took the kicker out, and we added a second flex player. So you can play up to 4 receivers. And if you include your tight end, you got 5 receivers. So that's my receiving core is pretty good if they can stay healthy. I got Beckham, Marshall, Reed, Floyd, and Tate. I got Tate, I picked him in the 63rd pick, and he's been going at an average of 55. So I got a pretty nice little steal there. I got him a round later than most, and he had 90 catches last year with Calvin Johnson. Now that Calvin Johnson's gone, he's definitely going to be the number 1 target in Detroit. So I'm pretty happy about that. And then my running back's a little weak. I got Ingram. I grabbed Ingram in the 3rd round. Got him at number 23. I like him. He caught more passes last year. He caught 50 passes last year, and that's the most that was more than the combined 3 years ahead of that. So he's going to be more involved in the passing game. Of course, I'm in a PPR league, so that's good news. And then I reached and took Jeremy Langford. I think Langford's going to have a good day. Actually, he played pretty good last week. Now, I don't really worry about too much about what happens in preseason, and you shouldn't either. But he had 54 yards and a touchdown the other day. He's been looking pretty good, so I grabbed him. On my bench, I've got Devontae Parker. I got Willie Snead. I reached a little bit and took Steve Smith. We'll see what happens there. I had a couple of reaches on my bench. I took Hogan for New England. I think he's going to take over for Amendola. I think he's going to be the number 3 receiver over there, and he might catch a lot of passes. You can get him late too. But I got Snead at 150, or he's ranked 115. I got him at 138. So that was a nice little steal there. But we'll see what happens with Steve Smith. Now, as far as the ADPs for standard leagues, there's really no surprises. The first round on average, and now I'm going by 12 player or 12 team rounds, because the standard, most of you guys are playing in 12 team leagues. The first round, you got 7 running backs going, and 7 receivers going, and 5 running backs on average. In the second round, everybody kind of flips the switch there, and it goes wait, let me see here. Yeah, 7 receivers, 7 running backs, 3 receivers, and 2 quarterbacks. The first 2 quarterbacks being Cam Newton and Aaron Rodgers. So it kind of flips over. You got 7 receivers and 5 backs in the first draft, or in the first round, and in the second round it flips a little bit, and you got 7 running backs and 3 receivers. So everybody's trying to grab a top-rated receiver in the first round if you don't have a chance at a top-flight running back, and then they're switching it and going and getting running backs in the second round. I didn't draft one until the 3rd. I usually even wait longer than that, but I just didn't want to pass Ingram up. I think he's going to have a good year. But let's see. Some surprises. They're not real huge surprises, but I I mean, everybody likes Ezekiel Elliott, and I think he has a lot of potential to be really good. But he's going at number 6, which is the third running back off the board, and David Johnson's below him going 8th. I would take David Johnson over Ezekiel Elliott, basically because of his pass catching ability, and their offense is really a high-scoring offense. So I was a little surprised there, and then I'm surprised especially with Le'Veon Bell's suspension being reduced from 4 games to 3. Devonta Freeman is going before him. He's going at number 10 and Bell at number 13. So it's a little bit of a surprise there. And Lamar Miller's going off at 14. I think he's going to have a good year. There's a couple of small surprises, not that big deal. Amari Cooper's going in the 3rd round. I thought he'd be going lower. So people must be listening to me then. And then another surprise is C.J. Anderson is going the 35th pick. He's the 14th running back being taken. I think it's going to be a steal. I think C.J. Anderson is going to have a good year. Kubiak loves to run the ball. We saw what he did with Arian Foster. He's kind of been having to sit on his hands the last couple of years because Peyton Manning was basically the offensive coordinator for that team. And now he's going to run the ball. And if C.J. Anderson can show up, he's going to be a steal if you can get him that late in the 2nd round. He's going off at number 35. Let's see, or actually late in the 3rd round. Thomas Rawls, Anderson's going behind Thomas Rawls. I don't know about this guy Rawls. We'll see about that. Jeremy Hill's been a good pickup. He's going in the 4th round at 46, late in the 4th, almost the 5th round. That would be a good pickup if you're looking for running backs late. You can get some decent running backs late in the draft. Melvin Gordon is pretty far down there. He's going number 70 in the 5th, late in the 5th round. So if you want to wait on running backs, you can find some decent running backs in the mid rounds. Some late surprises. If you guys are looking to pick Tom Brady, he is going late in the 4th round, or in the 5th round. He's going at number 56. So keep that in mind if that's somebody you've got targeted as your quarterback. He's going 56, which is in the 5th round. Keep that in mind. I was surprised that Emmanuel Sanders is going at 58 in the 5th round. He's a good receiver, but who's going to be throwing to him? I mean, Mark Sanchez and Simeon. I mean, Demaryius Thomas is a great receiver, so I think he's still going to have a good year. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. But the problem lies with that second receiver, and that's Sanders. I don't think he's going to have that good a year, and he's going a little higher than I expected. Another guy that's going higher than I expected is Arian Foster. I love Arian Foster. The guy was great for the Texans, but, man, lately he can't stay on the field. And if you know anything about sports, you know that. He cannot stay on the field. So he's going at number 65 in the 6th round. I was really surprised by that. And if you guys are thinking that you're going to try to grab Coby Fleener late, and he'll be like a little sleeper pick for you, he's going at number 66 in the 6th round. So he's the he's in the 6th round, number 66. He's the 6th tight end going off the board. So he's going off the board before Tyler Eifert, who's a little dinged up, and then Barnage, which is a bit of a surprise. So if you think you're going to try to get him late, be careful of that, because he might be gone before you know it. Danny Woodhead is another guy that a lot of people like. If you think you might be able to get him late, but he's going late in the 6th as well. He's going number 72, so watch out there. He might be gone pretty quick. Alan Hearns is another good receiver. I think with all the people putting their attention to Allen Robinson, that's going to open Hearns up. He's going in the 8th round at number 85, so that means a nice little pickup there. And the usual suck. Jimmy Graham's all the way down in the 9th round. I put him on my sleepers. I think he's going to have a good year. I really do. I think that guy's got too much pride to play bad like he did last year. And I think Seattle is going to rethink the way they used him now. And that all depends on how his knee works out, of course. But he's going 116th in the 9th round. That might be and right behind him, Julius Thomas at 118. So those are a couple of nice pickup tight ends right there. Another surprise I saw is Matt Ryan is at 125, the 19th quarterback being picked. Marcus Mariota is being picked ahead of him. I don't know why everybody forgot about Matt Ryan. The guy averages 4,500. Go look at his stats. The guy's averaging 4,500 yards passing a year, every year for the last 3 or 4 years. And he gets about 30 touchdown passes. I don't know why all of a sudden everybody's not paying attention to him. He could be a steal for you later. He's got one of the best wide receivers in football. He's got Julio Jones. I mean, I don't understand why everybody is waiting so long to draft him. So you might be able to pick him up later. But those are some of the stuff I noticed on ADP this week. Starting tomorrow, today's Wednesday the 23rd. Starting tomorrow is the 3rd week of preseason. I haven't paid much attention to the first couple of weeks because they're playing backups and the starters only play a couple of series. But this is the week where almost every team will play their first string offenses for the first half of the game. You won't see much in the 4th game, but this is the week you're going to see the first half of the game. You're going to see the starting quarterbacks, starting running backs, starting everything, and they're going to play most of the first half, so you can really get an eye on what's going to go on and who the teams are going to be playing and what kind of rotations. So you might want to pay closer attention to this week than any. I hope you guys are having good drafts. We had some fun. We had some beers, a little barbecue, played some poker afterwards. I had a good draft. Of course, I talked shit the whole time because I'm going to take all their money. But I hope you guys have a good draft. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I am out.